Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Trail Talk. I'm Edie.
And I am Mary.
And we are here live at the Chisholm Trail Heritage Center in Duncan, Oklahoma. Everyone's closely watching the radar. It's a good thing we taught about tornadoes last week.
We had a premonition. We said we were not educated. We just didn't realize how well
We just like
prepared we were.
Our guts were fully engaged.
That Oklahoma intuition.
Yeah, for sure. So you're welcome.
Thanks later.
Anyway, today we are going to be talking about the pork, pig, hog, swine. All of these words are
The
interchangeable.
other white meat.
Yes, that industry in Oklahoma. Hey there.
Hi, Stefan.
How are you, Stefan? Haven't seen you in a while. Welcome back. It's good to see you. So, swine is really the name of the family, like kingdom, phylum, class, order, family. So there's
more scientific.
Yeah, swine, pigs, and hogs are kind of interchangeable.
Slang.
Although most people refer to the adult as a hog and the babies.
For some reason, I always consider, in my mind, I call a hog like the wild big.
Oh, those big wild boars.
Yeah, and then the pig is what I eat.
Right. Well, and it's weird because like the male pig or hog is called a boar, but we call those other feral hogs, we called them wild boars. I don't know. It's like we just can't decide.
Well, we really don't want to get close enough.
But you know what? Pork, the
Sums it all
ultimate,
up.
that's right. The ultimate, the other white meat, that is
Got
what
some
we're
wild
talking
pork
about.
running around here.
Yeah. So I want to start off by this quote, because I thought this was very cool. No man should be allowed to be president who does not understand hogs. President Harry Truman said that. So
be president.
you're right.
I can't tell the difference between what.
Yeah.
I'm out.
So there's a lot to be said for maybe the temperament or the possibilities. I mean, we have some great facts to share. There we are. We're back now. So anyway, but as far as hog production in Oklahoma, we're going to kind of jump into that first and then go into those super interesting facts about hogs. But they've been here in Oklahoma since the 1830s.
A bit.
Yeah, I'm going to go to this nice ancient picture. The Choctaws actually brought a semi-feral type hog with them when they were forced to leave the Southeast and brought here you'll remember the Choctaws are one of the 5 civilized tribes who were first moved to Indian Territory, which eventually became Oklahoma. So they brought the first hogs with them, or pigs, and then white settlers brought them later when
the more domesticated type, right?
Yeah, the more domesticated type. Yeah, when they came to settle the land, like during the land runs. And so that's basically how the pork industry kind of got its roots, kind of got started. People in those years, people just had the pigs or the hogs for personal use.
Right. For feeding
their families. Yeah, because who's going to turn their nose up to a slab of bacon? That's what I want to know.
No.
Yeah, right. Anyway, Oklahoma is known as a wheat producing state. But like we just said, farmers have always kind of had some pigs just to kind of add to provision for their family.
Right.
And of course
kind of supplement their income and help to feed them when times where, they had bad.
Right. And then, through probably the 1900s, through probably about 1990-ish, pork production kind of went up and down. But there were the small breeders who sold their hogs at market and were able to actually earn a living by doing that. Oklahoma kind of always ranked in the 20s or 21, 24th.
Yeah,
right. Yeah, as far as pork production in the United States. But the small time pig farmers, breeders have gone the way of the small dairy farmers. They've just been squeezed out by your large scale operations. Yeah, I mean, it's being, growing up here in Oklahoma and knowing people who depended on the raising their animals to sell at market and to actually earn a living from that.
That's their livelihood depended on those types of things.
Right. It's been very tragic to watch these dairies and pig farms just close up shop
Kind of
and
like big
people
pharma, but it's big
big farms. Yeah.
coming in.
Yeah, for real. And I get it. I mean, the US makes more money by exporting and all of that, but I mean, still, agriculture has been so important to our country.
Oklahoma.
Yeah.
Your next door neighbor.
Exactly. And so it kind of makes me sad that those things have happened. I mean, wheat is pretty much the same way. My dad has always had wheat fields. We used to lease land and, harvest a whole bunch of wheat, and now we just harvest enough to replant.
Yeah. My family has that in Kansas.
Yeah.
It's just,
Yeah, it's
How it
it's
just
pasture for the
goes.
cattle.
Yep.
So anyway, so yeah, these are the two major
survived.
farms. Well, these are the big, like
Oh,
corporate,
the big ones.
Murphy Farms and Seaboard Farms, who moved into like the Panhandle area of Oklahoma and took over large sections of land
Kind of bought them out.
and created these hog, I don't know. I mean, it's just massive. And I mean, several years ago, there were people who tried to get them to move or change their practices or do something because the odors produced at this type of a size of an operation was so overwhelming to the people
Unpopulate.
that they
Unpopulatable.
left.
Yeah.
Yes, they left. People who had been on land, their family for 100 years, packed up and moved away because they just couldn't deal with some of the
odor,
side effects of this
Producing
large
animals.
production.
Yeah.
Yeah. But at any rate, I mean, pork is now number 2 as far as in Oklahoma. As far as, beef is our number 1. Well, no, I think, beef and then pork. Yeah. They've kind of the order that, production goes here in Oklahoma. This is kind of this is what we're talking about. Yeah. This is what we're talking about as far as some of these big operations. I mean, this is what the facility is like. Everything's very clean. They're able to hose everything off. There are, low spots or grates that everything gets cleaned and washed out. But all of that pig poop, among other things that gets washed out,
Has to go somewhere.
has to go somewhere. And I'm sure people get concerned about,
Water.
the water getting, I don't know, bacteria
And the heat
and
the
things like
smells.
that. Yeah. But they choose a very specific kind of feed, the kind of feed that's going to put the most weight on the pigs without adding a lot of fat. And it's going to do that in the shortest amount of time, the most efficient way to bring the pigs
To wait.
to the most desirable weight for butchering.
Right. Without the fat.
Yeah, and so here you just have
You can't tell one from another.
all of these,
Really?
yeah, and they're just they'll have sows that are
Sows are the mothers, right?
sows are the
The
females, and giving birth to their little piglets. And in just a few weeks, they'll wean the piglets and they'll start them on feed. And I'm sure that they have, these all look like the same size. They probably have another
sections. For
a
ages.
barn full of smaller ones, another barn, a farrowing barn where the sows are having the little piglets.
Right.
So, I mean, I'm sure it's a very smooth, well-run
I'm sure they have it
operation.
down to a science,
Mhm.
obviously.
But I mean, I appreciate the cleanliness, right? This is gonna
Right.
be food for our
Right,
table.
exactly.
But you know, if you tend to have feelings about the way animals are treated, this kind of makes you think, those animals don't ever see the sunlight or eat grass.
Right,
You know, they don't get to roll in the mud.
right.
Yeah. And so, you know, it's just kind of how you feel
Yeah.
about all that. I don't know. I mean, I realize
Pros
they,
and cons.
they employ a lot of people. They bring a lot of money
Money into the
into the
area.
state, so it boosts our economy. But again, you know, the small time farmers have been pushed out and have had to,
Well, like you
take
said, the
other-
people that have, you know, relocated
Right,
because of that.
Yeah, that's true too. So anyway, I mean, it's a,
Give and take.
yeah, it is. Okay, interesting information about pigs. Y'all hang on. Stephon, hang on for this. This is some good stuff. I'm gonna go ahead and go to this picture. We're gonna get away from that very industrial picture of pigs and go to some pigs enjoying the life.
I know, you may not eat pork for a while after you see these cute little faces.
Yeah, look at that.
I know,
Look at
and look
those.
at this one,
They're
looks like
so-
he's got little blinders on.
They're so cute. Okay, so these swine are among the first animals to be domesticated.
6,000 years ago.
Yeah, 6,000 years ago by the Chinese. Yeah, so the Chinese they're the ones who first, salted pork belly and kind of paved the way for the bacon, the delicious bacon that we all enjoy
yes.
today. This might be my favorite little fact. A pig's squeal can range from 110 to 115 decibels. Now, for comparison,
Yeah, comparison here.
the Concorde jet is usually about 112 decibels. So if you've ever been in a barn where there's a lot of pigs,
I imagine they probably wear earplugs.
it can be crazy. I used to,
Cringeworthy, I
yeah,
imagine.
I did stock shows and we never showed pigs. Shout out to Bailey, who works here,
Yes.
who showed pigs. But-
And Emery, who's our newest.
and Emery,
yes.
yeah. So I showed sheep, but the sheep barn and the pig barn and we were
All
all
there
close.
together.
I never liked going over there because the pigs are a little temperamental
I've heard they're kind of moody.
and they can squeal. It is deafening. Seriously, that's one of my favorite
Mm.
things. So baby pigs appear to be greedy because they're fighting for
For food and space.
right, yeah. Whenever it's time for them to nurse their mamas.
Mhm.
And so that's where people associate calling someone a pig or a hog because of
For
greedy
hogging the
behavior.
space.
Mhm.
That's-
Yeah, that's where that comes from. I kind of skipped. Did you have one
Well,
that you
I like
liked?
this one, that the pigs, like you said, they're weaned from 2 to 4 weeks old, and then nursery pigs are until they reach about a 50-pound
Okay,
limit there. And then they're growing finishing pigs until they reach about 240 pounds. And then after that's when they're called the hogs. And then hogs are usually taken to market between 240 and 280 pounds.
yeah, they weigh 2.5 pounds when they're born and they grow to be 250 pounds.
Yeah.
That's a big change and it happens
Yeah, I was gonna say,
within
talk about
probably about a year or
kids
less.
growing fast.
Yeah.
You know, pigs.
That's true.
Don't
Yeah.
blink.
Yeah, okay. Pork is very important. Now, we jokingly said pork, the other white meat earlier, but pork really is a great meat. And people think I'm kind of weird, but I would rather eat a pork chop than a steak. I have always been like
I know
that.
people like that.
I really like pork chops and I like the meat better than when I eat beef. No offense, beef producers.
She eats her fair steak.
Right.
share steak
right.
as well.
But I've always been a pork chop girl. Anyway, pork has protein, B vitamins, and thiamine. So those are really important things that we need in our diets. Insulin and
Yeah.
40 other medicines
Made from pigs.
made from pigs. How impressive is that?
What kills me though is that they're not really even dirty.
Right?
They're not considered a dirty animal.
are
They
not.
don't sweat
And yeah,
and they roll in the mud
to stay
to
cool.
stay cool.
That's why you make a mud hole for them, is because they can't sweat.
Right,
They're like hippos.
right.
You know what? I wonder if they come from the
Same
same
family.
or genus or kingdom,
think they
phylum,
would.
class, maybe a same class or something.
I'll look into that.
Order. Uh-huh.
But then on top of the medicines, pig valves have been used to replace human heart valves.
Right, and I know people who have had pig
Mhm.
valves put in their hearts.
Yep, because their hearts are very similar to
Mhm.
human hearts.
Yeah, weirdly, they start craving like corn and stuff like that. I'm just kidding. It's a
And
joke.
rolling in
It's-
the mud.
And rolling in the mud.
Right.
That's a joke. Okay. Pig fat is used in making weed killers, chalk, cosmetics, floor wax, crayons, and antifreeze.
Talk about your wide range here. You can go chalk.
I will never look at those products the same
No,
again.
I mean, my daughter loves to sidewalk chalk.
Sidewalk chalk,
And
Yeah.
and I'm like,
yeah.
you know what you got in your
I
hand
mean-
there.
Can I get a whiff of bacon?
Right?
Yeah. Okay, this might be, I said the decibels was my favorite pig fact, but this next one might actually
Are
be.
you talking about the
A
seven?
pig can run a 7-minute mile.
Okay, I'm not even
Right?
gonna say how far. or how
That
long it
is
takes
like,
me.
that's like marathon pace. Those people that run marathons and finish in a couple of hours, they're running about a 6 or 7
yeah.
minute mile.
So needless to say,
That is so, those
I
little
would be,
legs,
I would be shown up by a pig.
right? I mean, they have short
And
legs
that's stamina.
and,
They
right?
would have to have, and
Yeah.
not sweating, all of that.
I wonder if they actually run a mile or if that was just a sprint.
And then they times it.
I don't know.
And
Maybe.
they don't overeat, they just eat till they're full.
Yeah,
They don't sit there and just pig
Like-
out.
like,
I got one.
right? Yeah, people say that, and it's probably because of how their bodies look,
Right.
that they look like they overeat, but that is literally the meat that people eat, all those parts of a pig, you know,
The
when you.
wider area
Uh-huh.
they have, the more they can hold.
You know, when you go to the store and you get pork butt, that's actually a pork shoulder.
Yeah, you
It's
can
the
call
pork,
it either way.
it's pork shoulder
It's
roast,
not the
but
butt.
people call it
It's
pork
not the
butt.
butt.
It's one of the best cuts to smoke.
I was gonna say, and it's got universal, I mean, you could do so many things with
Yeah,
it.
pulled pork typically comes from
From
a
that.
pork butt,
Yeah.
pork shoulder, whichever you want to call it. But I always thought that was kind of funny that it's
Right.
called, that people call it pork butt. They have between 34 and 44 teeth. Now, I don't know why there is a
Is there some
range.
difference?
That seems a little weird to me, but they have 4 toes on each foot, which I was gonna see if we could see. So I don't know if you guys
Can't
can
really
tell.
see there.
They have, right, they're in the Bible.
That last one who might, in that one picture.
Yeah, maybe so. So in the Bible, you know, they refer to a cloven hoof animal that the Jews are not supposed to eat. And we know that the Jews, a practicing Jew does not eat pork. Well, cloven hoof means that the hoof is divided. But they have like these other 2 toes
You can
little
kind of
hooves
see it
that-
right there.
that come off the back of their foot. Their leg, really,
Yeah,
kind of.
it's more like
kind
on
of-
the back, yeah,
Yeah.
because I mean, this.
It's kind of interesting, and they're sharp little dudes too.
Smart.
Yeah. Okay, so we're gonna share this information, even though we have found a discrepancy in the details.
So once again, we're gonna preface by saying,
Right, we got the information today from, of course, from pork industry.
right, websites.
Websites and things like that. But this says that during the War of 1812, a New York pork packer named Uncle Sam Wilson shipped a boatload of several hundred barrels of pork to U.S. troops. Each barrel was stamped with U.S. and people it was stood for Uncle Sam. And so then people start referring to Uncle Sam, United States. And that's how Uncle Sam came to represent the United States, you know, the guy with the stars and
We want
stripes
you,
top. Yeah, we
okay.
want you thing. We were trying to, you know, find backup information about this. It was
Kind of
just
fact checking.
right. And every other place that we found information about this said that Uncle Sam was a beef packer, not a pork packer. He sent beef to the troops, not pork to the troops. So I don't really know what's happened here. I don't know if the beef producers in our country stole the story from the
Kind of
pork
like a
producers.
all right, folktale type.
Right. Yeah, an urban legend.
Mhm.
Or if the pork producers are trying to get their fair share of the War of 1812 and some credit for Uncle
Right.
Sam.
Or maybe he did both,
Maybe he did both.
you know?
Right.
And maybe one's just crediting their genre. there.
Right. So anyway, we are not offended if someone wants to correct us on this. We just want you to know, we found it that both.
But I have to go back to the war thing.
Oh, okay.
Soldier pigs have gone to war and they have served as mine sniffers in battlefields. Now,
Right.
I want you to picture if you do like Edie and I did before when we were prepping for this.
Right. Little
Little
helmet.
pig helmet.
Yeah, little holsters with
Their
their,
little,
yeah,
the ammo.
ready for
belt.
battle,
Uh-huh.
ready for their
And this-
aviator sunglasses. I would love to dress up a pig in full out
Oh.
army
yeah.
gear. Yeah. Camo
on the
paint.
face.
Yeah. Out there
Yeah.
sniffing for bomb. I mean, in all seriousness.
They did do
They
this.
did do that. Don't you remember reading stories about pigs hunting for truffles for people?
Uh-huh.
That has always kind of stuck with me. I was a kid reading about, I had no idea what truffles were, but I remembered that pigs sniffed them out and people used them for that. They probably trained them, I mean, which verifies. that
smart.
They're
Pigs are
smart.
smart.
Yeah,
They like to listen to music. They're curious. They like to stay busy.
yeah. So, and they're brave. One pig named Priscilla saved a boy from drowning, and she is in the Pet Hall of Fame now.
That's right.
Well done, Priscilla.
That's right.
Hogs come in lots of different colors. You know, there's tons of breeds of hogs. And so I just got kind of some random pictures. These are kind of the ones that we see the most common around here, but it's probably like sheep or cattle.
Right.
In different parts of the world or different parts of the United States even, you're going to see
A
different
dominant
breeds.
type, yeah, but
Mhm.
there are different breeds.
Yeah. The heaviest hog in history, Big Bill, weighed, I wish I had a picture of
Oh my
this.
gosh.
He weighed 2,552 pounds.
I'd like to see him score.
Big
Yeah, I wonder if he had that
Bill.
6 minute.
Big bad
6 minute
Bill.
mile.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I bet Big Bill didn't clock his mile at 7. Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay, to say you're living high on the hog, I liked these phrases.
Right.
To say you're living high on the hog comes from another military story.
Mhm.
The enlisted men received shoulder and leg cuts of pork, but the officers got the loins, which is this part
Somewhat
up here.
trimmer part.
Yeah. And so that was called living high on the hog
Because it was higher.
because, yeah, they got these cuts up here. And so that was made living well or
Mhm.
being able to eat well. The origin of saying a pig in a poke. It was a common trick in 17th century England, the English. They're just a bunch
I
of
know.
jokers, aren't they? Of trying to give away a cat to an unsuspecting shopper for a suckling pig. So someone was shopping for a pig, and when they opened the sack, there was a cat in there, and he would let the cat out of the bag, and the trick was revealed. Two phrases, two
Yep.
old phrases
Yep. Right there in that
combined
one.
in one 17th century
Mhm.
English
That was a busy day for him.
trick. Those jokers
Tricksters.
over there, I'm telling you. Okay, pork barrel politics.
Mhm.
derived from pre-Civil War practice of distributing salt pork to the slaves from huge barrels. By the 1870s, which is post-Civil War, congressmen were referring to regularly dipping into the pork barrel to obtain funds for popular projects in their home districts. So that, all those phrases that we use today, I like being able to kind of associate.
Find the original.
Mhm.
The origin.
Yeah. And pigs are found on every continent but Antarctica. So there you go.
The highest price ever paid for a hog
Oh, yeah.
was a crossbred hog named Bud. On March 5th, 1985, the hog was purchased for $56,000.
I bet Big Bill could have given him a run for his money
Bill and Bud.
if he would have been by the pound. If they would have paid by the pound, a Big Bill would have brought in, I feel like I'm doing an alliteration. Big Bill would have brought in some big bucks.
I know you've had several tongue twisters over here that I'm surprised you've been able to get through.
Okay, so when sows have piglets, they have usually between 8 to 12. And she is laying in a special farrowing stall because the way pigs are built, let's go back and look. Okay, they don't really have necks, right? Their neck is a very thick, and so their ability to turn is limited. So when they give birth, it's very common for them to step on, lay on, injure, or even kill the babies. And because, when they're newborn, they're helpless.
Right.
They can't do
anything
much for themselves. And so they put the sows in this stall, and it protects her from injuring the piglets. It protects them. And so a lot of people, there you go. You can see one of those back toes right there. So it's an interesting looking foot. So kind of going back to the industry in Oklahoma.
Bacon.
Right here, people. That bacon and sausage.
I'm more of a bacon gal.
I am too, honestly, unless it's blue and gold sausage. I do like some blue and gold.
No, I do like the I'm not much of a link.
Yeah, that's me. Yeah, it's the link. I'll go with the crumbles or the patty.
Right. Yeah.
And you guys feel free to comment on what your preference is. On the pork, how you like to eat your pork. Anyway, because of, we mentioned earlier, those big corporations, the big hog producers,
Yeah.
they really do help the state of Oklahoma bring billions of dollars of money in, as well as exporting.
Right.
The top US states by inventory, Oklahoma is in the top 10
Yeah.
as far
Not
as.
doing bad.
No, they're not.
You're doing fine, Oklahoma. Number 2, I'm on a roll.
She is doing it today. But literally they provide like 34,000 jobs in Oklahoma.
that's
And
just-
we're not that big of a state.
No.
So that's a
And
very
like I said, it's not
helpful.
even our biggest producing, thing that we have here is hogs or pigs.
Right. We're known as the baby pig state among pig people. I don't hear anybody else calling us that.
The
but
pig,
Yeah.
the pig community.
Yeah, the pig community. We have an annual crop of over 9 million baby pigs.
That's a
born.
lot.
And our exports roughly 2 billion pounds of pork and the top are Mexico, China, and Japan.
And they have like metric tons of it.
Right.
So yeah,
Yeah,
we're not really there yet.
yeah, that's for sure. But at any rate, there you have it. A lot of super interesting facts about pigs. A lot of great information about the pig industry, the pork industry here in Oklahoma. I hope you guys have learned some new things.
Stefan,
and
we hope you enjoyed joining us today.
it's good to see your face today, Stefan. And we hope you guys will join us back tomorrow. Lois Dawn Jones from the city of Duncan is going to be here, and she's going to talk about our city parks.
Which we have a
We have a
lot
ton
of-
and so much improvement.
Oh,
And we
we've
have
had a
all
lot
this
of
great
updates.
signage and everything.
Mhm.
So anyway, tune in and hear about all the new things going on in our parks. And we'll see you then.
Tomorrow,
So
3 o'clock.
yeah,
Okay.
until then, happy
trails.
trails.